garden.
So on one end, if you talk to miners, running a mining operation is extremely difficult financially because as it's very CAPEX heavy. That means you have to buy a lot of hardware upfront, and then with that upfront spend, then you can increase your hash rate, and then you basically recoup your cost through block rewards. But the point is that only works if you have tons of cash upfront to spend. And that's only available for like really large miners, right? The top four that have either are public or have access to like financing to banking. And that's why you're seeing a lot of like centralization around the block productions. But even if you're like a medium miner, it's really hard to go to bank and get a loan. And these loans are very predatory. The terms are not great. It's just because it's considered a high risk business because a lot of these loans are repaid in dollars. And so with the price volatility, the Bitcoin drops, you can't make your payments, you go under, you get liquidated. We've switched it around. We're like, hey, why don't we actually don't create loans in dollars? We create loans in Bitcoin so that your monthly payment is denominated in Bitcoin. So it doesn't matter what the price does. The price can go down, the price can go up, you pay the same amount. And you are like, well, why would someone accept that? Well, their revenue is in Bitcoin, right? Every week, a miner knows I'm mining 1.2 Bitcoin. So if their payment is like half a Bitcoin, then they know mathematically that as long as they can maintain that block production, they will pay it regardless of the price. So suddenly you've reduced the volatility factor, which is how a lot of miners go bankrupt. And in 2022, I don't know if people remember, but the crash of Bitcoin destroyed a lot of Bitcoin companies, very good Bitcoin companies that were, we're not talking about tiny, companies that couldn't handle the volatility. It's like really good mining company disappeared, and that led to the consolidation of the hash rate. And so the secondary effect of providing healthy financing options to miners is that we help decentralize the network. Actually, we allow medium miners that often have access to really amazing like source of electricity. So we work with people all around the world. And more recently, we announced a loan with Size Mining that has mining rigs in Paraguay and Ethiopia. And they mine Bitcoin like 100% renewable energy, right? Completely carbon free. And they have access to really cheap energy. But what were they missing? They were missing access to financing. And so we allow them to open a loan on our platform, and they're able to borrow and now that loan is live, and it pays 9% fixed APY in Bitcoin, which is the largest I think you can find on the market right now. And they're more than happy to pay for it, right? And then just to finish up, on the other end, you have all these Bitcoin holders and Bitcoin treasury companies that have amassed humongous amount of Bitcoin, and it's sitting idle, and they're trying to find productive way to put that capital to work. Bitcoin staking is just not sustainable, and you have sometimes like these like Bitcoin yield delta neutral strategies are also very volatile. So there's a huge demand for yield that is sustainable. And so what we're doing is we're not convincing anyone. We're literally just going to the people that are looking for financing and give them loans, and going to people that are looking for real yield and connecting them to these miners. And so we see ourselves as more like the marketplace maker for this already pumped out demand that is already there.